to the second part of our Yankees roster preview and outlook. So we talked about position players in the last one. So I did that under the assumption that this year, of course, they're gonna be carrying the 26 man roster. Um so that gives room um with the position players that I said altogether with the lineup, the regular lineup, starters, and the bench. I had 13, so that would give Aaron Boone and the coaching staff the path to having a 13 man pitching staff. So I'm gonna go through that staff and my expectations. And so of course in our starting rotation, we definitely have our four that I think will be the rotation for the first 4 games. Definitely our rotation for the start of the season. I got Garrett Cole, who's, of course, an awesome pitcher. Definitely like the big get of last off season. A lot of people were disappointed in how he pitched in 2020. Um, but again, pandemic, strange circumstances, no fans, stuff like that. Um, and by no means was he like bad. And in the playoffs, he definitely showed he was worth every cent of his contract. So we have Garrett Cole, of course, already in like the news is the opening day starter. So the rotation behind him is where it's kind of murky. Talking about the rotation, I'd be remiss to not extend or at least talk about in some sort of fashion my disappointment and sadness that Masahiro Tanaka is not with the New York Yankees. He returned to Japan playing for the Rakuten Golden Eagles. So I'm wishing him nothing but the best there. He's been nothing but a great Yankee. Um, Definitely seemed like a great teammate. Uh, I definitely had one of my favorite baseball moments watching him pitch. Actually, in his first season might have been like his second or third start with the Yankees. Way back in 2014. Um, Pitched like 8 shutout innings against like the Cubs, and this was the Cubs before. Um, they went on their before they started contending, so it wasn't like a great lineup, but he like dominated like the living crap out of them. Um, but yeah, I'm really disappointed there wasn't a spot for him this season, but Tanaka's still like relatively young, and I think like the fact that rather than pitching for any other team in MLB, like it was like, all right, if I'm not coming back to the Yankees, like I'm gonna just go back to Japan. And even in Japan, like he returned to the team that he was originally with. So it just shows you his loyalty. I'm pretty sure in Japan he saw that. He was like, all right, like, if I'm playing in America, I'm playing for the Yankees. If I'm playing in Japan, I'm playing for Rakuten. Um, so I wish him the best of luck, and he definitely will be missed. So now to the 2021 Yankees and who we got. So surprisingly, we acquired um Corey Kluber, who and as we've seen last year in the playoffs, if you watch our postseason wrap up, you know that game 2 against Tampa and the nonsense. um, that went into the starting pitching in that game, it was clearly evident that the Yankees were lacking in starting pitching, and we definitely were looking for them to make some moves in all season, and they definitely did. You got Corey Kluber, who is a two-time American League Cy Young Award winner. Damn good pitcher when he's healthy. Last year, I think he was limited to one start with the Texas Rangers. So the Yankees were able to pick him up as a free agent, $11 million. So just that price in of itself lets me know that um he's relatively healthy and he's relatively throwing the ball, if not at the rate of his, top of the rotation self. He's definitely like close to it. That lessens my worry. And in his first spring training start, he went perfect, 6 up, 6 down. I think he had 3 strikeouts in 2 innings. So hopefully that is a good harbinger of things to come. Um, but I'm not penciling him into that number 2 spot just yet. I think I don't know who will be between him and our next pitcher, James Centaion, who was a member of the Pittsburgh Pirates, and the Yankees were able to acquire him for relatively if you did a top 20 Yankees prospects, it was like a couple of guys, like 2 guys in, between 10 and 20, and a couple of guys that would probably been in the top like 30. So it was like a relatively cheap trade, but one of the reasons for that, excluding the Pittsburgh Pirates general ineptitude, part of that has to be his injury history. Um, but it's been evident that when he is healthy and he is on, he's a really good top of the rotation guy. Showing a lot of promise. Him and Cole are pretty close, and the fact that Cole is like a student in the game, and now he's brought back an old teammate and somebody to kind of share his knowledge with. Um, it really has me believing in Jameson Tyon. So we'll see what he does in the season. But he has really good stuff, really good strikeout stuff, breaking stuff. Um, so I don't know how they will slot him and Kluber in that second and third spot. But if I had to guess, like gun to my head, gotta make a decision, I would assume that it would be Cole, followed by Kluber at number 2, and then Tyon at 3. Now fourth, somebody who came out had a really really good start, kept the Yankees alive in the playoffs. Somebody I've been a huge fan of. So he came up in 2017, obviously behind Judge and Rookie of the Year, and but yeah, really good 2017 season. And 2018, um pretty decent. Got injured and then went down with Tommy John surgery. And then he was able to come back in 2019 towards the end, but he didn't pitch quite as well. And then in 2020, he didn't pitch so well in the regular season when he finally returned, but he did pitch, like I said, pretty well in game 4 of the division series, keeping the Yankees alive and staving them off from elimination. So I have him slotted in at fourth. Now in the fifth spot, I think it's pretty much up for grabs. You got David Garcia, who had a really promising and erratic, I would say, 2020 debut. So that's one of the reasons you could see him slide into our fifth spot, but also it wouldn't be the worst thing to have him him to be starting off in AAA and him getting regular starts down there. Clark Smith, another guy, pitched pitched pretty okay in 2020. When he was given an opportunity to start, which was very rare, but he was not so great coming out of the bullpen. But he's another guy, pretty promising stuff. But at the moment, he's hurt, so we'll see how that goes. Returning from suspension, you got Domingo Herman when he last pitched in 2019. Solid season, 18-4, I believe. Out of 4 ERA. And then he was suspended for the last nine games of the season for something really terrible, but he's back and he's on the path to restoring his baseball career after all of that. You got Jonathan Luaziga, who's somebody a lot of good stuff. Has had good starts, has had bad starts as well. So he's kind of like up and down. And then the last person, but I'm pretty sure he'll come out of the bullpen. But who knows? Maybe he'll have like a really really great spring training and it'll change some minds. Who knows? It's not out of the realm of possibility. I just have him really, really low on, the odds to be the fifth starter. And that's Luis Sessa. But I definitely have those 5 people as the fifth spot in the rotation. So with that being said, obviously one of them will get that spot. And I think two will end up in the bullpen, and then two will end up in Scranton. But the sure bets for the bullpen, I have obviously our closer, Aroldis Chapman, who, contrary to popular beliefs, been arguably one of the best closers in the game. Obviously, he's no Mariano, but I mean, nobody else is because look at that. Mariano is the only person to get into the Hall of Fame with 100% of the vote. So he's a rare breed in itself. So I think it would behoove us as fans to stop comparing our closers to the greatest closer of all time. I mean, we had been spoiled by the fact that Mariano was so great. And then obviously setting him up, Zach Britton, great ground ball guy. Was really really solid last year. So hopefully he picks up where he left off. Chad Green, obviously, he's got 1 to 2 inning, middle inning guy, 5 to 6 inning, um, strikeout specialist. Really great stuff. Definitely has had his warts, but overall, since he's stuck on a major league roster, he's been a very dependable arm out of the bullpen. So I'd expect more of the same this year. New additions, we got Nick Nelson, who's been in the Yankee organization for a while. Good stuff, hard thrower. Obviously, hallmarks of the guys the Yankees look for in the bullpen. So I expect him to be one of those guys that makes the whole bullpen opening day. And a new addition, Darren O'Day, submarine pitcher. Always love those guys. It seems like Darren O'Day, he's been around forever. And obviously he's familiar to us because he spent obviously he was in Atlanta the last season or two, but he spent a lot of time with the Baltimore Orioles. He was somebody who's always brought up, possibly in mid-season deals and stuff like that. But he's a lefty pitcher, so I assume he'll come in and fulfill that lefty role. But I think he's, with his submarine stuff and with the 3 batter minimum, he's one of those guys that could get batters out from both sides of the plate. So I'm really excited about him. I thought that was like definitely a great pickup by us for the bullpen. The bullpen's always been a strength. It's been such a strength that like, I've bitched and moaned about like Betances not being re-signed, not bringing back David Robertson and stuff like that, but it still ends up like persevering and enduring. And we keep bringing guys in. So hopefully Nelson and O'Day are really solid in the bullpen, and any of the losers in the fifth rotation spot really take advantage of the opportunities as a long man, or even if they find a niche as like guys that could get, come in and save an inning. Hopefully they excel in our role. Like I said, with this new three batter rule, which I'm not like a huge fan of. Like I don't. It's just something like there's a lot of people that have made careers of being like one out guys and stuff like that, and I just like. And there's been a lot of managers that have maneuvered on both sides, whether it be like pinch hitting, knowing that the other team already is bringing in their lefty specialists, and then on the other side, guys, managers, managing the game, knowing like, all right, like I know this is like the heavy left-handed side of your lineup, so I'm bringing in this dude. And I just think it was just an unnecessary change in the game. And of course, at some point during the summer, one of the most excellent pitchers you could watch pitch whenever he's healthy, Luis Severino, somebody we've missed. Or I talk about game two in the postseason against Tampa in 2020. Like that was definitely a moment where he was missed, because I think if you have him going behind Cole, like you would have had Tampa's back against the walls, and that would have been a whole different series. So I'm really, really hyped to see when he returns. Hopefully he returns to form. Hopefully, there's not a lot of rust there. So I'm excited to see him. And I didn't get to it on my batter side, but another like wild card I have on the team is Miguel Andujar. And I was really disappointed because I've seen a lot of people making fun of him. A lot of people making fun of him working on his fielding, because that's always been like his weakness. And he's been tried out at third base, of course, and then he's been tried out at left field to variant results. And I was really disappointed to see a lot of people like piling on him, because like some reporter like posted a video of him misplaying a ball and letting it get through him in like training in fielding drills. And I was just like, I thought it was like messed up, because I thought of it like when like people post those videos making fun of like big people at the gym, kind of like fat shaming people while they're at the gym. And it's just like, why are you making fun of them? Like they're there. Like the thing you're making fun of them is what they're working on, and like you're being critical of them while they're doing it. And that's like kind of the same way I felt they did to Miguel with that video. So I was just glad to see that he's keeping the work up at third base, and there's opportunities for him to get at bats, whether it be at the DH, whether it be at third base, whether it be in the outfield, to just see him working there. Because in 2018, he really showed that he could hit. He probably should have been rookie of the year off his bat alone. He broke the record for doubles by a Yankees player, held by like Joe DiMaggio. So he still has promise. And I think at worst, with a full, it isn't like last year where they kind of had like the satellite training camp. I forgot what they called it last year, but it's actually gonna be a full on like minor league season, albeit I think it's delayed by a month. So I think the minor leaguers will probably get like an extra month of spring training. So I'm really excited to see Miguel Andujar try to figure out a way back to the major leagues. Who knows? And it may not even be with the Yankees. So that's all the thing to root for. Like he might increase his value for us to acquire somebody that could help if it isn't him. So I'm really excited for that. Overall, I really am excited for this Yankee team. Obviously the Dodgers and the Padres have an overwhelming amount of talent. But I think in the American League, like the Yankees, I'm biased because I'll tell you if you asked me last year, it would not be the case. But I think this year the Yankees are probably like in the class or probably the class of the American League. I think the Astros lost a lot of people, but they're gonna be in it. You got the Twins and you got the White Sox in our division. You got the Rays, but they lost a lot in the off season. The Blue Jays they added a lot, but I still don't think they're there. So I think the Yankees are probably like the odds-on favorite to win the American League. But it isn't like the first time we've said that in the last since 2017. So it's not up or shut up time. But I'm really excited to see it's time. My overall outlook on the season is just that I just don't want this team by the time the dust settles for the Yankees for the post game comments to be, oh, like, at some point we're gonna get over that hump. Like that post, the post game comments at the end of the Yankee season should be that we've gotten over that hump, and it depends on what you regard that as, whether that's winning the World Series, which is always a goal, and I always, it's always our lofty expectation as Yankee fans. But winning the American League, I think, is the expectation. So anything less than that, I think, is a disappointment. So I'm really excited for this season. This was my pitching preview. Please check out my preview on the position players and stay tuned for the next episode of the Black Seats.